Do you recommend a two PC setup or is one good enough to start? Honestly, one is more than enough to start. A lot of people that stream these days full time or made it quote unquote big actually started with a very minimal setup. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, just enough for you to produce relatively good content, and you are more than on your way there to making something that you can be proud of. What's your PC build like for streaming and recording? Honestly, I got my first PC setup on Facebook Marketplace, so it was really easy. I didn't know what anything was inside the system. So over time, you just kind of do a little bit of research, figure out what is a standard for the kind of thing that you want to do, and you can easily get a PC build together that can do what you'd like for a relatively good cost. I suggest websites like PC Part Picker. That's specifically what I use to make sure everything works together. What microphone do you use and why? I use the Elgato Wave mic. I've had this for a couple of years. I don't even know if you can get one anymore. Last I checked on their website, you can't find it, but the Elgato Wave, that's it. No Ultra, no Extra, no XL, nothing like that. The Elgato Wave, it sounds great. I mean, you can just listen to it for yourself in these videos, and it's relatively inexpensive compared to a lot of other things out there. What webcam do you use for your streams? I actually get this question quite a lot, and the answer is kind of going to surprise you. I don't use a webcam actually, and no, I don't use a DSLR. I actually use my iPhone. There's an app called IRIUN. Download it on the Apple Store. I'm pretty sure you can get it on the Google Play Store. Hook up your phone over Wi-Fi. I use my iPhone. That's why the quality is so good. How do you get your audio to sound so good? Any specific settings or plugins? I actually use SteelSeries application. You can set up your chat, your gameplay, everything. I have so many virtual audio cables that I don't even know what to do with them. It makes it super simple. You can tweak your game sound specifically for footsteps, things like that. They've got a lot of presets. Be sure to check it out. What kind of lighting do you use for your streams? So I actually have two little key lights that I got at Walmart. They have a surprisingly good selection of little starter things there if you're looking to do content creation. If you haven't checked it out, I always swing by the electronics. They have great ring lights. They have camera mounts, a lot of lighting in general, and it's all relatively inexpensive. So be sure if you go into Walmart to check that section out. You might find something worth your time. How do you manage your internet connection for stable streams? There's a lot of converters out there where you can find out how many bits you need for whatever amount of upload and download speed that you have. That's mainly what you need to consider is your upload and download. Look up what the recommended amounts are for whatever platform you're streaming on and set the bitrate accordingly. I know a guy that thought he had amazing internet, set it to 8,000 bitrate, and his stream looked like 4 pixels. Do you use a green screen? Is it worth it? So I do have a green screen. I use it for a lot of things like thumbnails. All of my thumbnails, the faces you guys have seen, have been from a green screen. If I do use it in content, it also counts as a tax write-off, so that's just an extra win. You don't have to get anything super expensive. I personally went with the Elgato one, but if you are finding something within your budget, don't go crazy. At the end of the day, it's just green fabric. How do you deal with background noise in your streaming space? So I personally like to limit as much background noise in general as possible before I even get to the mic settings. Luckily for me, the SteelSeries app has a AI noise canceling aspect into it, plus NVIDIA Broadcast in some regard has it to my understanding. So I just make sure that nothing is making obvious noise, and then pay attention to your audio levels within your streaming programs or editing apps to see where you actually need to fine tune down. How do you choose what games to stream or make videos about? Great question. So I actually play whatever I feel like. Sure, you can trend hop if you want, but at the end of the day, if you don't enjoy the game you're playing, the content itself is not going to be good. The best content is when you are having a genuine expression of excitement or interest in whatever game that you're playing. So tailoring games that the content is about to ones that you actually would play even if you weren't recording is definitely the best idea possible. How do you choose what games to stream or make videos about? Great question. So I actually play whatever I feel like. Sure, you can trend hop if you want, but at the end of the day, if you don't enjoy the game you're playing, the content itself is not going to be good. The best content is when you are having a genuine expression of excitement or interest in whatever game that you're playing. So tailoring games that the content is about to ones that you actually would play even if you weren't recording is definitely the best idea possible. How do you keep gameplay engaging even during slower moments? One of the best skills that you can develop as a content creator is the ability to talk to no one. Even if you have no viewers, think about a conversation that you would have to a general group of listening ears. This helps you imagine a group of people. It's kind of like the idea of if you're giving a speech, picture everybody in their underwear, but just picture people in general, maybe don't go that far. What's your process for finding and playing new or indie games? Most of the time, gameplay recommendations either come from friends or the TikTok feed, if I'm going to be honest. I might see something that just piques my interest, give it a little bit of time. Actually, as I'm saying this, I'm thinking of a couple demos that popped up on my feed. That's a great place to look up. If you go on TikTok, YouTube Shorts, anything like that, and search Steam demos or upcoming Steam demos, I'm sure you will get hooked on something. How do you balance playing popular games versus niche games? I've talked about this before, but I actually play things that I have a genuine interest in. If there's a cross between a popular game and a game that I actually enjoy, great. For instance, Dune Awakening. I've been playing a lot of that. It's popular and I enjoy it. Best mix. I kind of hop around. I don't try to balance either or. What makes a game good for content in your opinion? Anything that you can genuinely enjoy either by yourself or with friends. Just hit record. Don't try to do anything specifically. The most genuine moments that are the funniest are going to be caught off the cuff. There's been a lot of situations where I'll be recording gameplay and something crazy happens and I forgot that I was even recording because I've been playing so long. Catch moments like that. That's what makes for good content. How do you come up with unique content ideas? So this might surprise you, but I don't. And let me preface that by saying it's okay to take inspiration from people. Do not copy one-to-one, but change like 20 to 30% of something. Try your own version of someone else's style. No one is unique. It is a mesh together mess of all sorts of inspiration. Draw from so many different places that your idea at the end of it seems so new that it might as well be unique. Do you ever get bored playing a game on stream? How do you handle it? There are plenty of times that I've been bored playing a game. I'll set it down, maybe revisit it later, but I am okay to hop on something else if I need to drop a game and come back later. That's fine by me. At the end of the day, I'm tailoring all of this to things that I enjoy and other people happen to enjoy. I'm not going to stick on a game and then watch my sanity fracture in front of whoever's watching. How do you decide what moments to highlight for YouTube videos? Awesome question. So anything that I genuinely find funny in the moment, I'll make sure to clip during a live stream, or if I have an idea for a video, I just flat out test it. Throwing things at the wall until something sticks is the best way to develop. Not only are you figuring out what works for your viewers, but you're figuring out the kind of content that you can produce in general. Do you have a specific character or persona you use while streaming? One thing that I pride myself on is the fact that if you came up to me in person, I'm going to talk to you exactly like I would talk to you if you were in chat. I do not keep any persona or character in the back of my mind. I might try to liven up myself a little bit, but that's just how I am in person anyways. So no, I don't have a specific character or persona. How did you get your first consistent viewers and subscribers? I just genuinely talk to people how they would want to be talked to. The golden rule always works. If somebody feels like they might be interested in what you're doing and they hang around and chat and do enjoy what you're doing, there's a good chance that they will be around continuously, especially if you talk to them like they're a person, because at the end of the day, they are. They're just on the other side of that screen. That's how you get your first consistent viewers. Just talk to them, engage. What's your approach to dealing with trolls or negative comments? Now, I'm not gonna lie and say that none of them ever get to me. Some do, but I just have to remember at the end of the day, a really good saying: hate never comes from the top. People that are up there and winning usually want others to win. Hate always seems to come from below. Do you use chat bots? Which one do you recommend? So I have bots set up through StreamerBot. If you know anything about that, you're gonna know what I'm talking about. There are chat bots that type during actions, or if somebody uses a command, that's something you should look into if you haven't already. StreamerBot is a wonderful, wild connection mess of all these intertwined things that can really up your game when it comes to content. How do you get more views on YouTube videos? One thing that everyone has to realize is to get more views on YouTube, you need to record, edit, and post the video. I have 1.6 million plus views on YouTube in less than a year, and that's all because I just post and try. Even if you get 5 views on a video that you thought was going to do amazing, and you get millions of views on a video you thought wasn't going to do well, at the end of the day, you're still getting views. Keep posting, edit, and get better. What are your tips for creating eye-catching thumbnails? So I actually went to school for graphic design, so I love this question. Look up the rule of thirds. If you use that on YouTube, you're going to do better overall. It takes some time to get down, but after you understand it, go look up a YouTube video, look up rule of thirds thumbnail, and I promise you will come away learning something. What's your advice for getting out of the 0 viewer slump? I cannot stand when people say that they live stream somewhere and that is all that they do. The discovery everywhere is horrible. The thing that you need to do is make content on other platforms. Start with recording, get editing down, post videos, and then maybe move to streaming. I myself stream, and if people watch, cool. If they don't, I at least have a video to edit and post later so people can see what they're missing when I'm live. Make other content, don't just stream. How do do you avoid burnout when creating content? Everyone that is considered a creative is going to feel this at some point. One thing that you can do is mix up what you're doing even just a little bit. Keep it fresh and keep it new for you and your community. I go from game to game. The second that I feel any burnout, I switch games. I go to maybe a different genre entirely. I might go from multiplayer to strictly single player to chat interactive. Keep it fresh and keep it new. That is the only way I've found to avoid burnout personally. What do you do to relax after a long stream? I personally take the worst approach. I don't relax. I immediately get into editing, figuring out what the post is going to look like when it goes up on YouTube or TikTok or anything else. Right now, that's kind of what I'm doing. I immediately get into more work, but I also find that relaxing. I don't know, maybe something's up with me. What's one piece of advice you would give to someone thinking about quitting their day job for content creation? Now, I haven't quit my day job for this, but I have had this in the back of my mind. If I do start hitting certain goals, what would those goals look like? And what would it take for me to actually leave my 9 to 5 and start doing content creation full time? My general rule that I have for myself, at least, is if at my lowest months I'm still making more than enough to cover my bills and some, then would be the time to quit. Not the second I make more in a month than I did at my work, but until that consistently hits that threshold, I would continue the 9 to 5 until maybe something else happened. What keeps you posting content when things get tough? Honestly, I'm too worried about the next video, the next thing to post, the next creation I can make to even worry about things getting tough. I look at it the same way I have for a long time. I've been making content for over 13 years off and on, and I've enjoyed it the entire way through. There have been long stretches where I don't post because life gets in the way, but I always find my way back to this and realize that I'm doing it for the love of the game. If I cared about numbers, I would have quit long ago. Just have fun at the end of the day. Post things that you can look back on in 10 years and just be happy that you have the memories to relive again.